Welcome back. All right, we have Nick Abera here with us today. Thanks for being here, Nick. Nick is a personal trainer, and he has some insight that we don't normally hear. So let's get right to it. We've always heard calories in, calories out. And that just usually means more work, less food. Is that just the bottom line how it is?
Absolutely not. A lot of times it can be, but a lot of other times it is not. And a lot of times there's so many factors that go into why we may be having issues with our weight. It could be hormones, it could be lifestyle changes, it could be not only the calories that we're intaking, but what kind of calories we're intaking.
So what would you say, with that being said, what's the biggest obstacle that people typically face when it comes to weight management?
Absolutely. So obviously the calories in, calories out does play a role, but one of the biggest issues that I see today is stress management. You know, we have our moms and dads who have full-time jobs working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, having to get to sporting events for their kids 2, 3, 4 nights a week, and then having to worry about dinner, and then waking up and doing it all over again. And then, you know, different things such as relationship issues, job stresses, all of these things play a role in our stress. And then what typically happens is that stress begins affecting our health in a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
So I know that you've told me in the past that it affects your adrenal glands. Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Absolutely. So when we're in a high stress environment, when we're living a high stress life, we absolutely have the potential to get stuck in a fight or flight mode. And when we're stuck in that fight or flight mode, our insulin is going to be affected, our insulin regulation, our thyroid, our sex hormones, all these different things, which then affects our digestion and several other issues. And what happens at that point is we run into metabolic issues, and the metabolic issues is what's going to stall our weight loss.
Well, and when you mentioned thyroid and other things there, well, insulin, so that would mean diabetes, right? Or
Absolutely.
on your way to that.
Absolutely.
When you go to a doctor and you find out those are some of your problems, do people miss the root cause of those problems?
A lot of times they do, and I think the issue is that in Western medicine, our practitioners are taught treat the symptom instead of looking for the root cause of that symptom. And the second issue that we run into a lot of times is that in Western medicine we don't put near enough emphasis on hormones and hormone therapy as somebody like myself believes we should.
Now, you've talked a lot about finding that balance and different ways to manage stress. What are some ways to help reduce stress?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that we can do to reduce stress is exercise. And obviously we don't want to overdo it, especially if we're just starting out. The other thing is diet, food choice, as well as quantity, the quantity and quality type of scenario. Another thing is making sure, and this is one thing that a lot of professionals, a lot of parents have a hard time hearing, and an even harder time doing, is taking personal time for yourself. Whether it's a 20-minute walk at night that's by yourself, no music, just letting your thoughts.
Selfish.
It does, but you know what I tell people is that if you take that personal time and you work on yourself, you become that better mother, that better father, that better spouse, that better employee, friend, and family member.
Now, do you advocate for a lot of cardio?
I do not advocate for a lot of cardio, even with people who come in and want to lose and need to lose a substantial amount of weight to become healthier individuals. I start out with no cardio because I do believe that if we can put in check our exercise and our diet, we can get very far without using that cardio as a tool that needs to be used.
Will that further, cause more problems with cortisol and stuff if you're over exercising?
It absolutely could.
Yeah.
Well,
how do people find you online?
Absolutely, thank you. You can find me just by my name on Facebook and other social media, or you can go to www.ift180.com.
You are so full of information. I'm like, I want to dive deeper
I
into all
know.
of this.
There's so much
Absolutely.
there. Well, thank you so much. We love having
you
you on the show and
Thank
learning
you
all
so
this
much.
information.
Thanks, Blake.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Push, pull, or